Hey, hey, hey. Hello, everyone. God bless everyone. I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late. I just got in a little bit ago. The roads is kind of bad out there, so I was driving really slow. So it is snowing here in Ohio, and it's coming down pretty hard. Um, so please forgive me. Like I said, we will not be past an hour. So it is now 8:14. So by 9:14 we should be off, or maybe before. I'm going to read but a couple chapters. Thank you guys. So welcome to the Let's Be Real Book Club and more, um, where you will be reading books and talking and laughing, and you might cry sometime. It all depends on where we at in the book that I'll be reading. So I hope you guys all enjoy. And remember, if you don't like what I'm doing on my channel, you do not have to watch it. Okay. So I hope everybody that do come in, I hope you will like the book. I hope you will enjoy the book. And like I said, I don't think I'll be getting any notifications. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, but I did announce it that I will be coming on at 8 o'clock. So um, again, waiting for people to come on in so we can get this book started. So I thank you all um, for joining me. Um, Yes, and so I thank God for this day. It's really snowing out there. The roads is really bad. It's really bad outside. So come on in, come on in, come on in, so we can get this started. It's certainly just we on chapter 9 and 10, and I thank God that He is have blessed me that this book club is still going on. Um, so just come on in, so we can get it started. God bless you all. God bless you all. Oh, I always got that one watching. That one watching must be the one thumbs down all the time, because I always be that one watching that jumps on my life all the time. Oh, but God bless your heart, though. God bless you. At least you come in. And I thank you. And I thank you. And I thank you. Come on, family and friends. Everybody know the time that I do this book club. So everybody grab your favorite snack, your favorite drink. So we can get this book club started. And I know people have not been getting notifications. I do know that. I don't know what's going on, because even with me, I found out with myself, certain people who I go support too, my bell wasn't on. I said, why was my bell on? So I had to click my bell on and stuff like that. So you guys just go out there, and the people who you like to show love to, make sure that your bell is still on, because something else going on that a lot of people bells are being turned off. I know my bell was turned off, and I had to click it on and stuff like that. So that's what I've been doing, checking some of my people, and a few of them bells have been off. So that's why sometimes I be coming in lives late, but I got them back on now. So hopefully YouTube will stop playing with us, leave us alone, and let us do what we do, you know, because I know I don't be bothering nobody at all. That is for sure. That is for sure. So, well, it's two people is watching right now, so I'm gonna go ahead. So the two that's watching that don't want to come in, God bless you. So I finna go ahead and get this book started. Okay, so I'm trying to wait till one of my moderators come up in here, so they be able to wash the line. So I'm gonna um, 1 second. Here we go. Okay, put my glasses on. Put my glasses on. So I am reading out the book Serving Justice. We are on chapter 9, and we're going to be in chapter 10. So these are some short chapters, so it will not be long at all. They are very short. I might have to go to 11, but they are really, really short. So we'll see. We'll see. I keep up with the time. Okay. It says, as Tony stood out in the veranda looking up at the same stars that just a few hours earlier had made it very enchanting evening, he went over in his mind the events of the evening. The evening had begun with so much promises, and now he just didn't know what to make of it. Tony had secretly dreaded dating women like Angie for fear his past might come back to haunt him. Those fears had just been sustained. Tony wasn't ashamed of what he did for a living, but he knew sometimes others would always judge him by their own standards. Tony had worked so hard trying to overcome the mistakes of his past, but it seemed he was forever being held accountable for making bad choices when he was just a kid. If only he known that he would have to live with the consequences for the rest of his life. Was he forever doomed to pain for making bad decisions when he himself was young, dumb, and stupid? For a moment, Tony was transported back to another time and place. Tony, the baby won't stop crying. We don't have any more milk and we don't have any more money. You promised that you would take care of me and my baby. Now, what are we supposed to do? It was Sharon, his 15-year-old girlfriend, and the mother of his son. They were in a they were they're dirty. They were in their dirty, literal, infested studio apartment. It was the only place that he could find to live. Tony didn't know how he gotten into the mess. He was only 16. He was ready for this, but he made a promise. He had promised his son that no matter what, he would be there for him. His son would grow up knowing his father. His son would never have to look in the face of a total stranger and wonder if he was his father. His son would have a father around to teach him how to be a man. He wouldn't have to drop out of school because he had to hustle on the streets so his mother and sisters could eat. That's what Tony had to do. No son of his would grow up knowing who he was. He was Tony Alexander Jr. I went to school with a guy with that name. Not some snot-nosed little boy crying himself to sleep at night because he misses a man he never met. He would take his son to the park and play catch. He would teach him how to play football and basketball. He would teach him all about six so he wouldn't make the same stupid mistake that he had made. No, that Tony felt that his son was a mistake. He just wished that he had waited for a few more years before having Tony Jr. He wished that he had a real job so that he wouldn't be crying for milk he doesn't have. If he had a job, he would have done something stupid. If he had just waited, he would be there to see Tony Jr. take his first steps. See his first smile hear him say, "Dad, Dad." If he had just waited, he would be healed. He would be headed to jail for 6 years. He wouldn't be headed to jail for 6 years. Um, just his luck. The one night he needed it the most, he couldn't score any weed to sell. Tony was nervous and scared. He had never tried to rob anyone before. His boys always talked about how easy it was. All he had to do was walk into the store, make sure that no one was around, and then just ask for the money. The old man wasn't supposed to have a gun. Why did the old man have a gun? All Tony wanted was his money. He just wanted to get some milk so that Tony Jr. would stop crying. He just waited to get, he just wanted to get enough money so that he could keep his promise to his son. Why didn't the old man just give me money? I never wanted to hurt him. But then the little boy started crying. If he had started crying, I wouldn't have looked at him and I would have seen a gun. The little boy wasn't supposed to be there. It ain't fair. All I wanted to do was be a man for my son. Now I won't even have a chance to bond with him. Tony Jr. will have to wait 6 years before I get to see him again. It ain't fair. All I wanted for my son was a chance for him to get to know me, like I didn't get a chance to know my father. What will happen to him now? Who's going to get him some milk? Who's going to teach him about football and basketball? Who's going to teach him? Who's going to take him to the park? Why did I have to be so stupid? Why did I keep making such a dumb mistake? It ain't supposed to be this hard. I am not supposed to be a 16-year-old convict with a baby. There's a lot of them out there like that. What is Sharon going to do now? Why did the old man have a gun? Why did he make me shoot him? I'm just glad he's gonna be all right. I didn't think about him being somebody's father. I didn't know he was raising his grandson. I didn't know that the boy's daddy had been killed. Nobody should have to grow up without his daddy. Now my son is gonna have to grow up without his, at least for a while. Why did I have to be so stupid? Why did he make me shoot him? Why didn't I wait? And that's how Tony Field had a child at the age of 16. He did something bad that he, was gonna leave his son in this world for shooting a gun, for shooting at somebody. Didn't have a job, didn't have no money to buy the baby milk. And babies at a young age, they got to have milk. They got to have milk. As Angie left the podium, this is chapter 10. That's how quick these chapters are, you guys. They are very, very quick. As Angie left the podium, she frankly searched the crowd for Tony. She couldn't find him. With a look of dejection written all over her face, she realized that her friends were still there, each one looking at her with a questioning eyes. Anger was still flashing in Darlene's eyes, and as usual, she wasn't able to read Rhonda's expression. Well, she could see the concern in her demeanor. However, Angie wasn't ready for their question. She needed to find Tony and talk to him first. As she giving his speech tonight, she realized she knew that she wanted to do what she wanted to do. She wanted to be with Tony, no matter what her friends and associates thought or said. Her mind was made up. She was going to be with her man. She searched all over the banquet hall, but Angie couldn't find Tony anywhere. He must have left. Angie's heart was in her throat, and she could feel fresh tears gathering in her wells of her eyes. She really couldn't blame him. Not after the, not after, not after he had heard what her friends had said. And Angie never, ever tried to defend him. How could she have been so stupid? Why did she let them trash him like that? She already knew the answer. Each of them had only spoken aloud the answers to the questions she heard already said and asked herself. Angie needed to find Tony so that he could at least try to talk to him and explain herself. She just hoped that when she did find him, that she would listen to her. Please don't let him be gone. She really needed to talk to him, and she shouldn't have let her friends, um, dog her date out like that, all because of how they feel, all because he got a PhD to be a counselor, but he chose to still drive a cab. That was his decision, and people always looking down on somebody. People always think they are better than somebody all the time, So um, let me keep on reading. It was so unfair. Why did her life always have to be so complicated? She had known for most of her life what she was meant to do. Her her destiny had already been set. Falling in love and had always been a part of her plan. But with the cab driver, now she questioned herself. What was she saying? How could she be in love with the same man? What did she really know about him? He was driving for her for years, every day. Stop it, Angie. You are doing it again. You are letting other people's opinions make up your mind for you. And that's what we got to learn how to stop doing. You got to stop letting other people opinions, what I'm saying, make a mind of other people. That was all because somebody else, don't like that individual or something like that. And you don't like the individual all because of what somebody else opinion say. And that's not right. That is not right. So don't let nobody make an opinion of who you want to date or who or what you like or who you want to, deal with. Get a hold of yourself, girl. You are a judge for goodness sake. Do what you have to do what you have been trained to do. Look at the facts. Take out your opinions and your biases. Uh, there she was talking to herself again. Angie went over the facts. She knew that Tony drove a cab for a living. She also knew that in the 11th year that he had been picking her up, that he was a man with manners. He was smart, wise, funny, and had a doctorate in psychology. He also had a heart that was as big as Texas. His character book for itself. What else did she need to know? She had secretly watched this man almost daily. They had long conversation each day, and they rode to work. So he took her to work every single day. So they talked every single day. So they already had a relationship and already knew each other anyway. She knew his likes and dislikes. She saw how he treated everyone they came in contact with, how he treated all women, not just her, with the utmost respect and courtesy. She had seen his face as he watched kids playing in the park. She saw a longing in his face as he watched fathers play with their children. Angie knew that she loved his spirit, his conviction to help those less fortunate. What did it matter what he did for a living? Who was the judge. Who was she to judge a man for how he earned his living as long as it was honest work? She began to wonder, when did she become such a snob? That's not how she was raised. If anyone knew how it felt to be a judge by your circumstances, she did. Angie flashed back to her childhood and how cruel April and her friends had been to her. She remembered how lonely she felt at she remember how lonely she felt at not being accepted for who she was instead of her circumstances she found herself living under. How could she have become so shallow? Listen to her friends' opinion. They forget where they came from. Poor Tony, she had become a judge to fight for equality, for equality, sorry. Now here she was, just like the people she had vowed to stand against, hypocritical. And there's a lot of hypocritical people out here. A lot. Looking at the outside and not seeing what was in the inside of a person's heart. Could she feel any worse? She had to find him and talk to him. She had to make him understand how sorry she truly was. What was supposed to be highlighted in her life had now turned into such a mess. Angie began to question her own sense of self. Nana, I hope you don't see me right now. I am so ashamed of what I have become. You taught me better. So now did I become so lost? Did I become like those I despised as a child? Angie walked back out to the veranda. She needed to clear her head. She needed to feel the cool evening air on her face to dry up the hot tears that were not streaming down her cheeks. She needed to get away from these people. She was too ashamed and really didn't feel worthy of the honor she had just received. How could she accept a award for serving justice when she and her friends had been so unjust to Tony? It was then that she spotted him. There he was standing on the veranda looking up into the light night sky. She was both elated and afraid. She was happy that he hadn't left, but scared of what she was about to face. Tony, softly calling his name. Chapter 11. This is the last chapter. After Andy's speech, her friends gathered in one of the smaller meeting rooms to discuss the evening events. Each one was obviously caught up in their own emotions. What was Angie thinking? Here they go again. How could she bring the man here and try to pass him off as her date? I just can't believe she could be so stupid. She is going to be a laughing stock of the city tomorrow morning. How can she expect that people would take her seriously as a judge after this? As usual, Darlene would be the first one to speak out. It's not that serious, Darlene. He only escorted her to the ball this evening. He can tell everyone that he was a paid escort. If they wanted to know why she had to pay someone to escort her to an event like this, he could just say she is so busy serving public as a judge that she doesn't have time to date. Great idea, Rhonda. Here they go thinking for her. Thinking for her. Darlene responded. It won't be that hard to get people to buy into the concept that really is more believable than the fact that a Chicago city judge should actually be dating a cab driver. Rhonda was angrily pacing as she spoke these last words. Her words betrayed just like agitated she was. Would you two just stop it? Can't you see that our friend is in pain over this whole incident? I don't know if you have noticed, but Angie is genuine. Mm, 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 mm. Feeling for this man. She had genuine feeling for this man. Didn't you see how she glows when she's around him? As a matter of fact, I remember how just a short time ago, both of you were falling all over him as well. What changed? XT. And they was. They were saying how fine he was, how he looked, and then they found out what he was and what he drove. Their whole attitude changed, and that's how people do. They smile at you and say this to you and say this about you, and then a few seconds later, the next day, they turn their back on you. That's how people is. Well, T, I don't know if you noticed. Hello, but he is a cab driver. Angie can't possibly be serious about him. She has worked all of her life to become a judge. You shouldn't possibly believe she would give all that up for some hack driver. Why not? He's only human and he make honest money. She would never be taken seriously as a judge if she shows such a lapse of character by dating someone like him. The more they discussed the evening event, the angrier Darlene became. And and what? Just because she's a judge, she can't date who she want to date because she's a judge? Because he's making honest money. If, oh, this is sad. Him has a name. It's Tony, and I think he's wonderful. He's kind, and I see how he looks at Angela. So what if he is a driver? He drives a cab. It's honest money. It's honest living, and it is. Besides, didn't you hear him say that he has a doctorate? T watched as Darlene as she spoke these last words. I don't care what you say, T. Something is not right about that. If he has a doctorate, why is he driving a cab? If they would have sat down and listened to his story, and they would have known why he was driving the cab. They was too busy not listening to him, but just staring at him. What man or woman, for the matter, goes through all of the trouble of getting their doctorate degree to drive a cab? That doesn't make any sense. Do you know what kind of money he could be making if he was practicing psychologist? Darlene seemed to spite these last words out as if it was something nasty and had gotten caught in her throat. Why does it always have to be about money with you, Darlene? If he's a decent man, what difference does it make? What if he does? What makes what he does do for a living? If this is what Angie wants, if it makes her happy, then we should be there to support her, not try to talk her out of it. Teresa tried to reason with Darlene. Support? What, Teresa? This phase of a relationship. Oh, I forgot. The relationship that Angie had fabricated in her head. After they, after they, after the way she didn't speak up for him when he had our talk. I don't think Mr. Tony will be persuading her honor. I mean, all of us told Angie what this would do to her career. He must understand that. If he truly cares about her, he will just forget about having a relationship with her. He can't be that selfish and stupid. For a moment, Teresa and Rhonda just looked at Darlene, trying to understand why was she so angry. The more she spoke, the more her face contorted, and the less she looked like the beautiful woman that she really was. See, Darlene, liked the guy. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't in Angie mix. It was that doggone Rhonda and Teresa. Heisa Diddy. Darlene, who gave you the right to decide what's best for Angie? She is a grown woman who can make up her own mind. Thank you. She doesn't need us trying to make her mind up or trying to decide what's best for her. Teresa said, trying to reason with her. Rhonda, don't you have anything to say about this? I mean, should we be able to help her understand what's wrong with this relationship? Don't you realize that this could affect you too? You guys are not only friends, you are both role models in this community. This could affect us all. Rhonda was sitting on the edge of her chair, taking everything in that was being said. Darlene, would you calm down, please? I can't think with all of this ranting and raving you are doing. I don't disagree with you, but we must all keep a level head about this. Whatever we decide to do, we must present a unity front, not come across as though we are allowing our emotions to rule us. It's not just Angie's credibility that's at stake here. My image, as well as both of yours, could be affected by this as well. As these last words were spoken by Rhonda, Teresa rose from her chair and stood over Rhonda. For the first time in a long time, Teresa had actually allowed the anger she had worked so hard to control over the years take over her emotions. Would you listen to the both of you? My God, you are here planning what's best for Angie, and not once have you stopped to hear what she had to say about all of this. This has nothing to do with either of you. I would say this one more time. Angie is a grown woman. She doesn't need our approval, and she definitely doesn't need our consent to make up her own mind. And that's I don't understand how people won't you tell you what you can do. You are grown. You are grown. Oh, this is crazy. If either you are friends, you would not be saying anything else about this tonight. Better yet, you would not say another word about how she could run her life tomorrow, either. For that matter, she does not need our personal issues added onto her already heaping plate. Angie need our support, not our decisions to help her through this right now. I am sure that she knows what she's faced. This is her life. Let her make up her own mind. All of us have been friends far too long. We have always been there for one another. Let's be there for our friend right now. Spent from the tyrant head pounding, Teresa just wanted to sit down. The stress of this evening was beginning to show on her face. Teresa, right, Darlene. I totally understand your apprehension about all of this, but our first concern is still our friend. Angela must be devastated by now, the whole ordeal, especially if she really have feelings for this man, and I suspect she does. You're both right. I have been thinking too much like a lawyer instead of being there for a friend. Besides, maybe I just jumping to conclusions. Maybe she doesn't really care for this guy, or at the very least, she can see how big a mistake she could be making. Have either of you seen her? I haven't seen her since the last stage. Poor Angie. She needs to find her and let her know that we are here for her. And concern, Darlene said. Maybe she should just give him some time. I think she went to look for Tony. Let's not forget he has been affected by all of this as well. I'm sure they need some time alone to talk. The tone in her voice reflected genuine concern that Teresa was feeling for her friend. Yeah, that Darlene and that Rhonda, they was really upset because of who Teresa was, who Angie was dating, all because he's a cab driver. You know what I'm saying? Angie wasn't looking at what he was doing, his career. You know what I'm saying? She was looking at, because she's loved him. She looking at him as a man. And her friends who she been knowing for all of their life, Darlene and Rhonda, didn't like the idea because he was a cab driver. But Teresa, was standing up for her, wanted them to leave her alone, let her make her own decision and her own choices. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't matter what a man does for a living, long as the money that he's making for a living is honest money, okay? As long as he treat a woman like a queen, as long as he respect her, you know what I'm saying? And that's all, that you want out of a man. You know what I'm saying? A man that, know God and love God. It shouldn't matter to her friends who she decide who she wants to date, you know, and like they said in previous chapters before, that's why they all single. You know what I'm saying? Their standards are too high. It shouldn't be about money. It should be about, love, loving each other. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Angie is. Angie, she falling for this guy. Because like I said, he was her cab driver. He takes her to work every single day, for the last few years. I think 10 years or so. So they already knew each other, you know. So it ain't like they strangers. You know what I'm saying? So he know her inside and out. So it's a pretty good book and stuff like that. But I might continue on reading because it's almost 9 o'clock. So plus so when you get a chance, make sure you go back and read it, listen to this live again, and so you can hear the story again and stuff like that. And this is a really, really good book. And you can, if you don't have this book yet, you can get this book at Amazon. They have used books, and they also have new books as well at Amazon. How used are the books? I'm not for sure because I never bought the book used from them. I always buy the book new from them. But the used books are a little bit cheaper than the new books. Okay. Just want to thank the ones that are, watching. Thank you for being here watching me. God bless you. Um, Also, don't forget the two queens that I do have in my night box. They will be coming out on tomorrow. I will be setting two other YouTubers up in there for 2 weeks to show them some love. That's who I think that have good channels, and they don't have no drama channel. Their channel is all about uplifting, what I'm saying, positive, things like that. So I have no idea who I'm going to pick yet. So I will be praying and asking God to direct me to the right two people who should be in there for these next 2 weeks. Okay. So I'm going to have to get ready to go. Don't forget about next Saturday. It will not be no book club next Saturday. We will be on the Lovely to Greats channel. Queens Uplift Other Queens. She will be hosted on her channel on next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which is my time, 7 p.m. Central Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. If you do not know your time zone, all you gotta do is Google and get in your city and your state, and it will give you your time zone. Okay. They'll let you know if you Eastern, Pacific, or Central. Okay. And I think that's about it. Like I said, thank you guys for the few that were watching me. God bless you, and I hope you get something out this book. So, as I will always end with my saying, love the skin that you are in, because you are made in God's image, and God know that you are beautiful because He created you. He created you for His purpose. You don't know what your purpose is. Get a relationship with God and find out what your purpose is, because God do love you. Okay, He loves us all, and always remember, I am forever a chosen queen. Okay, God bless you, and I'm out. Much love.